British Post Office scandal was a shocking miscarriage of justice, one of the most outrageous in our nation's history, resulting in over 700 sub-postmasters being wrongly prosecuted for fraud, theft and false accounting, owing to IT errors on the Horizon system. Following a number of court cases and campaigns, many of the victims of this error were compensated and convictions overturned, but others are still awaiting justice. Yesterday, the head of the inquiry into the scandal, Sir Win Williams, released a report criticising the schemes by which victims are remunerated for their troubles, describing the process as a patchwork quilt with some holes in it, and that his criticisms over the delays remain justified. Sadly, quite a number of those postmasters died before seeing justice done. My next guest is one of the victims of this shameful episode in our national life. Seema Misra was jailed for 15 months in 2010 in one of those wrongful convictions. This led to her being berated in the media, and she came close to taking her own life. Seema was pregnant at the time and gave birth still wearing her probation tag. She joins me now to give me her views on the latest development in this shocking story. Seema, thank you so much for coming in. The way you were treated is just so unbelievably outrageous. An innocent person, an IT fault, a pregnant lady sentenced to 15 months in prison.
True.
And you can't have believed this could happen in this country.
Never ever thought of it. If it didn't happen to me, it was so difficult to believe that these things still happen here in UK.
And nobody thought that 700 sub-postmasters were being prosecuted in a relatively short time, one a week, when in the previous 20 years there'd been 3 or 4 every year. And nobody thought to think that this increase meant there was something wrong with the system.
True, we've been told the exact wording from the post office, "Oh, Mrs. Misra, we have so many post office, they're doing fine, it's just your post office you're having issue with."
And they knew that wasn't true.
They knew that.
So there are the lies, and then there's the cover-up that makes it all so much worse.
That's true.
And then this thing that puzzles me, that the British state, when it makes a mistake, doesn't seem to want to put it right quickly. And you've had other similar scandals where errors are made, and we end up, in the infected blood scandal is a similar example, we end up covering up for long past governments when surely we should be getting on with it now.
Of course, yeah, we always say it's like a land of two laws. One law for common people like just me and you, and one other for the one in the authorities. So they can get away with the false accounting, we can't.
And tell me what you think should happen now. So Win Williams has come up with his report. You said to me a number of people have died who were sub-postmasters.
Yes, 62 postmasters been killed by post office. I won't say they died. They've been killed, murdered by post office. They haven't seen the compensation. These are just the postmasters. We don't know how many family members of those postmasters are gone already. So these need to put it right. They're just dragging on. They're just waiting to lose more and more postmasters to die out of this.
And do you know where this is coming from? Is it from the post office itself that doesn't want to settle these cases, or is it the government that isn't providing the money?
I can see there's like a blame game going on at the moment. It's not that difficult, you know. Like they have lawyers and lawyers. We know they have so many lawyers. You can sit down and get it sorted soon.
And some people have had payments. Is there a set payment that can be made? But how do you compensate for people being sent to prison?
True, there is no compensation for that. But at least they can put some figures, they ruin people's life.
Yes.
They said, we heard it in media so many times, we're going to put it to the people in the position where they should have been without the scandal. We are nowhere near.
But that's almost impossible to do, because it's not just the time you lose by being in prison, it's your reputation.
Of course, yeah.
And you had a respectable business and the respect of your community. And then suddenly all that was taken away.
We lost everything. We lost everything along with the kids' happiness as well. There's so many moments we couldn't spend with the kids. So it's like a torture. It's not just for the postmaster, it's for the whole family.
And that must have been such a strain on you and your family.
Of course,
when you were going through it.
It was a terrible time. It was a terrible time. I'm proud of my family, my husband and my kids, but I didn't want word to know that I'm their mum. It was like that. I was never telling everybody my full name. I didn't want them to go in Google that, oh, she's Seema Misra, she went to the prison. Because
you felt there was a stigma. And this was purely because an IT system failed.
Yeah, and the post office, they try to hide it.
And are you part of a group that's campaigning now to get this put right? And are doors being opened to you? Are you getting to see people within the relevant part of government?
There are so many groups going on, but we are together, definitely. We want proper compensation from each and every one of us sooner rather than later. They need to put a time scale. They need to put a time scale, not years and months. It needs to be done now.
And what about your own position? Have you received compensation?
No, no compensation. I receive interim payment, but no compensation.
No compensation, even though you were sentenced to 15 months in prison?
No.
And when you were pregnant, you were wearing a probation tag.
They ruined each and every happy moment of our family.
It's such a terrible story. Why do you think there isn't a desire to put it right? I mean, I was briefly the minister responsible for this, and when I was responsible, the instruction I gave to the department was that this should be put right as quickly as possible. So where is the obstruction coming from?
I got no clue why this is happening. It's like a blaming game. It need to be sorted. Somebody need to, in authorities, to put a foot down and say, get it sorted. It's just the ego thing. I don't know, probably during my case, they wanted to protect Post Office Horizon name. That's why they let me go to the prison. So the system need to be placed, like somebody, whoever is a culprit, they need to be punished. They can't just roam around.
That's a very fair point. It's not just compensation. It's finding who covered this up, who allowed this to happen, and making sure they are held to account.
And the main thing is just to show to the people that system does work in the country. Today is a post office, tomorrow will be another organization. So we need a proper law in place that people in the authority shouldn't get away with it.
Because you said at the beginning there were two sets of justice. In this country, there should only be one set of justice, which we should all benefit from. There is a statement from the Post Office. We welcome Sir Wynn's interim report and share his view that victims of the Horizon scandal must be provided with full compensation fairly and consistently. This remains our priority. Well, I would say to them, get on with it. Thank you so much, Seema. You are so brave to come on, and I'm so grateful to have welcomed you.